Welcome, friends. I bid you all love and peace, strength, and perpetual healing. This is your May 2020 Void of Course lunar calendar, your sacred secretion times. I do ask please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to receive all notifications, hit the like button so that you can receive all notifications and new videos. Please also be aware that all of my times that I list are Eastern Daylight Time, so there's a link listed in the description box below to convert your own into your own local time. I would also like to just take a moment. A lot of people aren't really too sure about the sacred secretion process, so I just want to take a little bit of time and reiterate exactly what this is all about, and then I will show you your times at the end of the video. Now, I have many videos in my playlists on the channel, so I'm just going to do a brief recap. Every 28.5 days, when the moon enters into your sun sign, the sun sign that you were born, your zodiac sign, a psychoactive process occurs within every human being. Just like a female ovulates every 28.5 days to create a physical child, we have the opportunity to create a spiritual child as well, male and female. This process begins with the pituitary gland secreting a whitish milky substance and the pineal gland secreting a yellow sticky substance. This is the land of milk and honey that we're taught about. The pituitary gland is representative of the female magnetic force or energy and is Mary, and the pineal gland is the male or electrical force energy and is represented by Joseph in the stories that we hear. All of this occurs high in the heavens in the land flowing with milk and honey. That's in our brains. Now those two secrets, they then travel down the spinal column or the spinal canal, where they meet up and join together and become one in a very small cave-like indentation in the lower regions of your solar plexus, creating a seed or a spiritual embryo. The solar plexus is the equivalent of Bethlehem, or the house of bread, or the house of breath. It's where the breadbasket region is. A child was born to a virgin in the town of Bethlehem, and he was laid in a manger. A virgin, because no man defiled Mary. She was pure. Now the child, the seed, or the new super synergy secretion, Christos, or the Christ, remains in that solar plexus region, incubating for 2.5 days, per the Antichrist book from Dr. George Washington Carey. The child, the seed, then travels back up the spinal canal, and then it sits in the lower brain, the cerebellum, for an additional 2.5 days. As above, so below. As below, so above. That is a law of polarity. If it happens in one region, it must happen in the other region, the other polar region, in order to reach completion. I do know that many people believe that it's only 2.5 or a 3-day process, and that it isn't true. It isn't true. If you go and you look at Dr. George Washington Carey's books, I'll leave a link to the Antichrist in the description box, but go and Google him and read all of his things. You can find them all free on PDF format. You don't have to buy his books, but I do suggest that you looking in to his books, and then the other one that's Carey and Inez Perry. I'll try to find a link for that and leave that in the description box as well. But it is not only 2.5 days, it's 2.5 days below and 2.5 days above. Then the child, the seed, the oil, the Christ, then crosses the pneumogastric nerve, or the vagus nerve, which is the 10th of 12 cranial nerves in our brains, which represent the disciples or the zodiac signs. And then it enters the optic thalamus, which is in charge of blood supply, and is used as fuel to light up the heavens, or the third eye region, thus offering itself as a sacrifice, as a way to bring light, truth, fuel, to save the world, and the world is representative of flesh, matter, man. By his blood, ye are saved. It makes so much more sense, and it's so much more peaceful, and so much more reasonable than to think what I used to think, which was horrific. That was a blood cult. At being happy that someone sacrificed his son and shed blood so that I could get free of something that I did, letting somebody else take the blame and the punishment. No, it's not it at all, my friends. We're all responsible for ourselves. No other man can save us, only yourselves. So as I said, 2.5 days below in the solar plexus, 2.5 days above in the lower brain, the cerebellum, is 5 days. Now, in my honest opinion, there would have to be some sort of travel time that needs to be taken into account. So if we say 1 day to go down, 1 day to go up, we have a beautiful creation story where the 7th day is your personal Sabbath day. It's not Sunday or Saturday. It could be. Mine's fallen on that day, on those days. But the Sabbath day is your 7th day. The Sabbath day is different for every individual. But, so if we use 1 up, 1 down in the 5 that we know about, that it speaks of in the book, we come out with 7 days. And that's our Sabbath. And there's true rest, which is equivalent to peace. True rest indeed. Now again, in my honest opinion, and these are my opinions, these extra couple of days, and this, in my honest opinion, if we are practicing this process faithfully and with a pure heart and pure intent, we will begin to realize that this is not a 7-day process. It is a lifetime, 365 days a year process. At some point, we need to stop practicing the sacred secretion and start living this process. Stop practicing the process, start living the process. Not just 7 days, 3 days, 7 days, but every day. If you honestly think about it, what those of us who practice, what are we abstaining from for that time period? Overindulgence in things, overeating, alcohol, sexual relations, getting into arguments with other people, trying to be and live pure and peacefully. I don't want people to be discouraged and just go, too much. We need to use the 7-day process as a training period until the spirit within instructs us that we need to proceed further. And we will. It will tell us to go further. Don't give up. Continue to practice this until it's like breathing, and you can do it without even being aware. One must think, if we are not partaking of those things during this process, wouldn't it be reasonable to think that maybe we should cut it out altogether? If it's good to raise the oil during this time, then wouldn't it be good to cut those things out completely? Now, I know that a lot of people will say, sex, It's easy if you're single and you're older and you've already had your children. And, I won't pretend to say, oh, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But for some people, it is, and all according to your age. But truly, the only reason that we're supposed to be, the Catholics did have it right. We are only supposed to be having intercourse to create children. And that should be the only reason. But I'll digress about all of that. But definitely not eating animal flesh, not drinking alcohol, not overeating, making sure that we're constantly meditating and seeking within, keeping our cool, trying to be at peace and at one with everything. We should be doing that 365 days a year. As I said, we should stop practicing and start living. But again, I don't want anyone to be discouraged. Use the 7 days to get yourself, and if you fall off of the bicycle, it's fine. Get back up, dust yourself off, and get back on. Get back on the bicycle and do it again the next month. Just continue. Do not give up. I have the parable of the 5 wise and 5 unwise virgins at the bottom of the screen. Those who were foolish took their lamps, and they took no oil with them. They had oil in the lamp, but they didn't take extra. They didn't have reserves because they were only doing it for a little bit, and then they stopped for the rest of the month, the other 3 weeks. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. But while the bridegroom was delayed, they all slumbered and they slept. And at midnight a cry was heard, and the bridegroom was heard. The bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him. All of the virgins arose, trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said to the wise, give us some of that oil in your lamps that you have. Ours are going out. And then the wise answered, no, lest there should not be enough for our lamps, but go rather to those that sell and buy for yourselves. While they were out to buy, the bridegroom indeed did come. Those who were ready came in, and then the door was shut. The door was shut, you guys. And then, the story, the rest of the story goes, the 5 wise virgins came back a little bit later and were like, hey, we got some more oil. And the guy at the door said, no, I don't know you. Sorry, shop's closed. I mean, that sounds kind of harsh, but that's the deal. There's certain times that if your oil is always in reserves and you always have it, there'll be certain times that door will open up and you'll be able to find out things about yourself, knowledge and wisdom about yourself, about the planet, about all the other planets. And it's a guidebook. It's where you find the Akashic records. But you must be very, very careful to not be just wanting to go there to get this knowledge. As I said, it has to be a pure intent, or you'll get up there to that third eye and you'll light it up, and quote unquote, Satan lives up there. Just saying, watch out, ego lives there. It's not a safe place to be. So this is the process. And as I said, don't be discouraged if you mess up. Just continue and make sure that you're saying change. That's the most important thing, is to see change. After a period of time, we need to ask ourselves if and how we're changing through this process. Individually, this needs to be tracked by each and every one of us so that we see our progress. Are we changing? Are we changing, and how? And why? Why are we doing it? Are we desiring knowledge for selfish purposes? Money, admiration, fame, glory, gratification, some sort of supernatural, spiritual, out-of-body experience. A lot of people really want to know, oh, well, what's it feel like? What's going to happen? It's almost like people are using this like a drug. And indeed, it certainly can be a drug. And also people get really mechanical, like, what do I have to do exactly at what time, and what should I eat, and what should I mean, there's things that I have listed in my playlist that can facilitate it, but it's more a within in your brain kind of thing than it is a physical thing. Do we desire power through this knowledge, through this process, to elevate ourselves above others? #unwoke. Subsequently running to and fro and informing everyone else on YouTube channels and your friends and family that they are lost and you have now found the light and they must listen to you? Is that why? Because a lot of people, I mean, it runs really like parallel with all of the other religions where, you know, we go, oh, we have the answer, now we're up here and everyone else is below us. No, my friends. No, if that is your intent to sit higher than someone else, beware. I will leave this in the description box below as well. This is from the Nag Hammadi Library. The Treatise on the Resurrection of the Soul. Some there are, my son, Reganos, who want to learn many things. They have this goal when they are occupied with questions whose answer is lacking. If they succeed with these, they usually think very highly of themselves, but I do not think that they have stood within the word of truth. They seek rather their own rest. But if you will not know yourselves, you will dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. Don't go seeking stuff to find answers so that you can, you know, have all the answers. Search for answers to heal yourself from all of your sins, the things that you do wrong. Make yourself pure. As this goes on, you will and other people will see. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad bears bad fruit. So ask ourselves, are we producing good fruit? Are we producing bad fruit? #unwoke. Or even worse than those, no fruit at all. A barren tree. Ooh, that's not good. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity. And charity is equivalent to agape love. Here's some very nice quotes. No one has ever become poor by giving, Anne Frank. Remember that the happiest people are not those getting more, but those that are giving more, H. Jackson Brown, Jr. Since you get more joy out of giving joy to others, you should put a good deal of thought into the happiness that you yourself are able to give others. Eleanor Roosevelt. We must give more in order to get more. Is the generous giving of ourselves that produces the generous harvest. Orson Swett Martin. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. Winston Churchill, like that one. No one is useless in this world who lightens the burdens of another. Charles Dickens. That's my favorite. It's my favorite. Give whatever you have to others. You'll find that you need less to survive, and everything that you do get, you will want to share with everyone. All of your gifts and your fruit, you'll want to share that. That's how you know it's good fruit. say it all of the time, love yourselves and love each other unconditionally. If I speak in the tongues of men and angels, but I have not love, I am a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty, peace. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh for oneself, but by love serve one another. That's the whole of it. Remember, quote unquote, Jesus was asked for the most important commandment, and he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, body, strength, soul. And then he said, but this, just like it, love your brother like yourself. That's the whole of it, my friends, because your brother is yourself. This sacred secretion monthly process is supposed to be a teaching, a guiding tool to help guide us back to our true form of unadulterated light, love, and oneness, completeness, wholeness. And the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, forbearance, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Those are the fruits that we're trying to acquire. That's what we want, and that's what we want to share with others. And that's how you know that it's good fruit, because those are all good things. Now, the fruit of the flesh, in contrast, is hatred instead of love, contentions instead of joy, jealousies and contentions instead of peace, wrathful outbursts instead of long-suffering, selfish ambitions, trying to seat yourself on high above everyone else. I'm woke. Dissensions, envy, murders, and that's of people, animals, and people's spirits. Drunkenness, that's drunk with your own knowledge and power. And that's a big one. That's Ego Town, and that's Third Eyeville. Watch out for the Third Eye area. I suggest that you get your oil, you light up your stuff. When you're ready, have your intentions set for a specific question, or ask for specific guidance or help, cutting out, crucifying, or circumcising certain things in your own life that you need taken care of. And only go there for certain purposes. Do not hang out in Third Eye Town. You want to progress up to crown chakra, and then actually you want to progress further all the way up into the higher heavens, which are not physical based, but they're all spiritual based. And now here is the May 2020 lunar void of course moon calendar sacred secretion times. Now, as I said, because of the 7-day thing, what you would want to do is say, I'll just use Virgo here. This is when your void begins, the time before the moon enters into your sun sign. This is your prep time. It can be anywhere from a couple of minutes or up to like a day, like many hours, 20, 22, 23 hours. This can be before this happens. So you need to be aware of what these times are. So Virgo would start here May 1st and should do here into Libra. This is 2 days. This is 2 days. And this is 2 days. So what you would do is you would go until this time right here. So your 7 days. So you go from void to void. At least that's what I do. And also you'll find out if you look into Dr. Carey's books, you'll find out about cellular salts, and this correlates with it as well, because we're all missing at least 3 cellular salts from not being in the womb for those 3 out of the 13 months when we're in the womb. So yeah, as I said, if you're going to just do the 7 days. That's how you do it. And I'll just leave it here for a little bit so that everybody can get their times. Please remember that mine are all Eastern Daylight Time, East Coast of the United States, but I will have a link in the description box so that you can change it to your own. You type in mine, and then you type in your own, and it'll convert it for you, so you know exactly what your times are. I love you guys. I wish you peace and love, knowledge, understanding, wisdom, perpetual healing. Keep safe, be smart, keep your hands clean, wear a mask, try to stay in as much as you possibly can, and help each other. Please help each other. If you have something, hand it down to someone who needs it, okay? As I said, love yourselves and love each other unconditionally. Start loving and being fair and kind and compassionate to all beings, your environment, animals, and other human beings. Love yourselves and love each other. And I'll get back with you guys soon. I'm working on the next Pistis Sophia video. I'm so excited about the Scorpio, Gemini, that forced portal that I talked about. And even more excited that the moon's nodes have switched into Sagittarius and Gemini. So I know that we're on the right track, and I just can't wait to share that one with you. Coming soon. I'm working hard on it. Lastly, I would ask, please, again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Click the bell. Sometimes you get notifications and sometimes you don't. But do that. Click the like and share on your channel and with your friends and family and on your other media outlets, because that greatly increases the odds of other people being able to find this information through the YouTube algorithms. So please do that and show your support. And also, if you are able, and only if you're able and you've helped out everyone in your immediate area, please, if you're able, click the link below. You can donate any amount to support my work here in future videos through PayPal, or you can even donate as little as $1 on Patreon. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.